Exactly a week ago today, I went under the knife to have some abdominal surgery to fix a hernia I've had for over a decade. It's part of my mission to invest in a physical pension to be a kick-ass 80-year-old, and you don't get to be one of those by being an average 50-year-old. Exactly 6 weeks ago, I posted a video outlining 3 main areas that I wanted to focus on in preparation for my surgery: my weight, my blood sugar, and my body shape and fitness. The goal was to make improvements in these specific areas so that I was in better shape after the op. And if you're short on time, then yes, I've lost weight, my fasted blood sugar is lower, and I'm fitter. If you're not in such a hurry, then hang around to hear how I did, and what I've learned and will be taking forwards. And don't forget to subscribe and all that shit. First off, this was supposed to be a 6-week plan, and if you've listened carefully to the intro, then you'll note that I posted a video 6 weeks ago and then had the operation 7 days ago. So that's right, I must have been operated on by Doc Emmett Brown, as I must have bent the NHS time continuum and had surgery a week earlier than planned. There was a cancellation, meaning my op could be moved forwards by a week, and I found out less than 24 hours before they sent me to La La Land. Now, let's get this out of the way now. We are beyond lucky to have the NHS and everyone that works for them. I was at the same hospital that operated on Bex back in 2020, and I just don't really have the words. NHS? Okay, time for some detail. Let's look at each goal in turn. I weighed in at 96.3 kilos on day one, and bearing in mind I was 107 kilos on January the 1st, that's a good bit of progress over the year, albeit with some yo-yoing back to 90 kilos and back up a bit, but that's what the scale said. And 5 weeks later I got down to 90.4 kilos, a loss of 5.9 kilos or just under a stone in 5 weeks, a healthy and steady loss of around a kilo each week. The goal had been to lose 6.35 kilos or a stone in 6 weeks, and I was about 0.45 kilos left with a week to go. The way I did it is top secret, so please don't let anyone know. I basically reduced my calorie intake and increased my exercise. I know, right? Facetiousness aside, in essence I went back to intermittent fasting, so basically skipping brekkie, sticking to good healthy lunches and dinners with as little snacking as possible. But I wasn't a saint, so I could have done better. Whatever. And regarding the exercise, well, I know roughly what my fat max is on the bike from lab tests, and this is where your optimum intensity is for burning the maximum amount of calories from fat. So I commuted to uni by bike and stuck to more or less that intensity. I also did my long slow runs slowly. Most people don't do their long slow runs slow enough or their fast runs fast enough, and more on that exercise a bit later. But in essence, yes, I lost weight, almost a stone in 5 weeks. My blood panel from earlier in the year showed an elevated HbA1c in the pre-diabetic level, and I've been here before and I've got it back down, but I've never really realised the impact of being insulin resistant. Frankly, I don't think many people do, so I will do a video on this because it is a big topic, but safe to say it's a key factor in all 4 of Peter Attia's 4 horsemen. I need to get it down and I need to get it to stay down. Take a look at this graph from the first 4 weeks, which is as far as the data got before the op. The black line is my weight from 96.3 kilos down to 91.6 kilos 4 weeks later, and the red line is my daily fasted blood glucose in millimole, and in the background from red, which is diabetic, to amber, pre-diabetic, to green, which is normal and safe. It's been proven time and again that obesity is a key contributing factor to insulin resistance, especially visceral fat, and more on this later. And this graph demonstrates a correlation, admittedly, between the two that falls in line with the research. Yes, I reduced sugar intake somewhat, but not entirely. Not to the degree that others have, and probably not to the degree that I should. However, these results, well, I'm super pleased. Frankly, I couldn't have helped for a better result. Okay, this is a tough one, because as I've said before, body shape is a can of worms, and in my case, even my body shape looks like a can of worms. I will show you the before and after pics in the mode, but I must tell you the turmoil in my mind as to whether I wanted to or not. I'll also do a video about body shape, as again, it's a big topic, no pun intended. And I have some pretty specific thoughts on the topic, but it's not for this video. Okay, exercise wise, I did this. I rode my bike, I ran, and I did weights, but more specifically I did this. I rode my bike in zone 2 only between 4 and 9 hours a week, and that averaged around about 6 hours a week. I ran long easy runs that were between 60 and 90 minutes, but very easy, like I'd get home feeling like I could go out and do it again. I ran 1 interval session a week, a variety of these, 400s, 1k reps, pyramids, and I'll put all these in the description below if you want to do them. This was the only intensity I did each week, and they hurt. I did 7 20-minute core sessions a week, focusing on abs and glutes, along with 4 20 to 30 minute sessions focusing on either my back, my arms, my chest or my legs. Not necessarily heavy weights, but usually 3 sets of 45 seconds with 15 seconds recovery. And that's about it. In total, including the commuting, I was doing between 6 and 14.5 hours training a week. My training peak CTL went from 59 to 98 over the 5 weeks, and annoyingly my benchmark park run of 23:45 in week 1 was due to be rematched on the Saturday before the original operation date. Believe me, having had the operation move forward by a week, it was not on the cards to do park run or even get out of bed. Abdominal surgery is not to be sniffed at. In fact, sniffing hurts. However, 2 days before surgery, I went and did 4x1k at sub 23 minute pace with 45 seconds recovery, and my heart rate was way off of anything that would cause me concern. I have a naturally high zone 5 heart rate from many lab tests. Even at the age of 46, I can get my heart rate up to 196, 198. My last 1k rep averaged around 170 BPM and I felt very comfortable. I am almost positive that had I run park run that Saturday, I would have gone sub 23. I wish I could have proved it, however, and it's safe to say that I got fitter over those 5 weeks. CTL, pace to heart rate on long slow runs and my interval sessions all indicate that. Okay, body shape. Let's begin with some caveats. I have been weight training steadily and consistently since January, and I've never done it before and I love it. A week after surgery, it may just be the one thing that I'm missing most, or it might be cycling or running, I'm not sure. 4 weeks, which is the time between the before and after shots coming up, is not enough time to build enough muscle to see a difference. Any change in my body shape in these pictures is due to a few things. 1, loss of body fat. I'd lost about 4.5 kilos by this stage. How much of that's fat is not known, and more of that at the end of the video. 2, previous weight training adaptation taking place. 3, lighting. I admit I did not manage to get the lighting the same, and I think the after pictures may be a touch more flattering. 4, how many of you subscribe to my channel? Do not underestimate the impact of you subscribing and watching my video impacting on my body shape. So here they are, dear God, some observations. It looks to me like I've lost some fat around my middle, the visceral fat, the most dangerous stuff. There is, however, still a lot, especially obvious in the pics from the back. I'll come back onto this a bit more at the end because it's going to be my main focus between now and Christmas. There's more definition in my arms, hips and obliques. My tummy is reduced in the side profile and my posture appears better. And that's about it. What do you really expect from 4 weeks work? This is not Instagram, you know. These are actual real life pictures of a 46-year-old trying his best. It is what it is, and honestly, given the time frame, I found it encouraging. What you can't see in the pictures is how strong I've been feeling, how controlled my movements are and my balance are. And that's more important. My God, I'm really sorry you had to see that. Right, conclusions and going forward. What have I learned? Here are 4 things. Eating less and exercising more means you will lose weight and you will get fitter. Who knew? I'm sorry, but there's literally no more to it than that, and anyone that tells you different is lying. The nuance may be in the intensity. Finding out and focusing on your fat max will make a difference, but if you want a ballpark where your intensity is, trust me, unless you're well fat adapted, it's far lower intensity than you think it is. Whatever, cut back on input and increase the output. End of. Losing that weight appears to have had a profound impact on my insulin resistance. This is very exciting and encouraging and a massive relief. I'd like to see how much further I can get that. Whilst I've lost weight and there's a visual change to my body shape, I'm still carrying a lot of weight around my middle, this visceral fat. I'm going to be getting a DEXA scan in November when I can get back to exercising. This is the only real way to tell body composition. It'll not just tell me my body fat percentage, but also where, so it can very accurately estimate my visceral fat. I'll then go back 12 weeks later after a couple of training cycles, and then again 12 weeks later again. My plan is to get to the point where I'm in a safe space in terms of that deadly fat around my middle. There will be pictures. I'm sorry. Speaking of which, it took me a lot of courage and soul searching to put those pictures up earlier, until I realised that actually I'm not sure I care. What you think about my body doesn't affect me in the slightest. In a literal sense, it has no impact on me at all. The point is those pictures are genuine and they are honest, but they are also old. 6 weeks or 2 weeks old. What matters isn't then, it's today, tomorrow, 12 months, 12 years time that counts. I can't exercise right now and I'm hungry all the time. I might well be back to where I was 6 weeks ago in 6 weeks time, who knows? kilos. But the point is, had I not done it, I would have been 96.3 kilos and unfit going under the knife, and maybe taken more time to recover. I may have had elevated blood sugar. Who knows what impact that might have had. I wouldn't have been as strong as I am now, so how would my mobility have been impacted? I'm back to walking 10,000 plus steps a day already, and it's only been a week. An hour before my op, I was sat in the ward with a heart rate of 47 BPM and a blood pressure of 116/78. So there you have it. Steps forward only, and that's how it feels. I can't wait to get back to running and cycling and weights. In fact, I'll have to be walking and swimming when the wounds heal properly, but I feel great. Mentally and physically, I feel damn fine, and considering the trauma my body's had to go through with incisions and drugs and stitches and God knows what else, I am certain the last 5 weeks, alongside the last 10 months of not drinking and generally looking after myself a bit more, have left me in better shape than otherwise may have been the case. Right. Subscribe to the channel please, hit the notifications bell and leave a comment, and remember, you'll be contributing significantly to a fitter human here. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one, you legends.